Nearly without fail, I would have the same thing for breakfast every morning. This is it. Oh man, that's so weird. That tastes like a freaking PCT. Hello and welcome to literally the first video I have made after finishing the Pacific Crest Trail. I've been home for a few weeks. We moved into a new house right before I left for the trail. This is the garage, AKA my new studio. Doesn't look like much yet. It probably will never look like much, but I think it's gonna be a fun place to shoot videos. So you'll see a lot more of this. Hopefully it will be slightly more aesthetic at some point. But today we are here to talk about what I ate for breakfast on the PCT. It wasn't always the same, but I pretty quickly found a routine and ate the same thing with very little variety almost every single morning. Okay, first I'm gonna dive into what the breakfast options are. What's even out there? What are other people eating? Next, I'll talk a little bit about coffee, hot topic on the trail, and also lots of options for coffee, so we'll talk through those. And then lastly, I will tell you / show you what I ate for breakfast almost every morning. So, let's dive in. First things first, what are other people eating on the trail? Well, the answer is everything. But most common, I would say, from my experience, were bars. Granola bars, protein bars, whatever type of bar you would like. The bigger ones like meal bars, or what's it called, meal to go bars, the huge ones. Those have a lot of calories, and so those are really great in the morning. A lot of newer backpackers think, oh, when I wake up in the morning, I'm definitely gonna want a hot breakfast. I'm definitely gonna want hot coffee, and you might. And maybe you want that every morning, or maybe it's just a special treat. But I think most people end up getting to the point where they're pretty lazy and they're just having bars. In the morning, it's early. You're probably getting up earlier than most people would prefer to be getting up, but you don't want to waste that sunlight. You want to hit the trail. So most people are not going to take the time to cook a hot breakfast, probably not even a hot coffee. If that's you, go for it, whatever works for you. But most people are just waking up, getting their stuff put together, hitting the trail, and then having a bar to tide them over until their lunch or their first lunch of the day. The next most popular option I saw would be cold soaked breakfast. So doing oatmeal or something the night before, letting it sit overnight, and then in the morning, it's ready to go when you wake up. Of course, hot meals, absolutely an option, whether they are meals that you make in advance, which can be fairly easy if they're oatmeal based. It's fairly easy to get those ready in advance. Or the backpacking breakfast meals, there are eggs, there's all sorts of them out there. Those are not very popular on the PCT, the backpacking meals in general, mostly because of the weight and the size and the packability, and mostly the expense. They're not affordable for something like this. You can justify the expense maybe for a weekend trip or a week-long trip, but for 5 months, you are going to break the bank if you are eating those pre-made backpacking meals for every meal. They're delicious, but not super practical in this arena. Other people may do some sort of shake, whether it be a protein-based powder shake, a powdered smoothie type thing. There are lots of powdered drink options in there as well. And my solution is sort of a variation on a shake. I shouldn't call it my solution. I definitely got it from other people. Sam specifically. I don't know where Sam got it, but my final top breakfast choice was a mix of a few different things. Next, one of the hottest topics on trail, coffee. If you are not a coffee drinker, disregard, zoom on by. This is not going to be important to you. You might be a tea drinker. Tea is great, so warming, so lovely. A camp in the evening. Just make sure that you're packing out your tea leaves, of course. And that brings me to probably the biggest downside, in my opinion, of having coffee on trail, which is wait, you are having to pack coffee grounds in, and then you're also having to pack them out. Depending on where you are, most places, especially if you're practicing leave no trace, does not allow you to just dump coffee grounds. So you have to pack them out. Not only do you have to pack them back out, you have to pack them back out wet. They are going to be moist and even heavier than they were when you packed them in. So I'm not saying it's not worth it, but it's definitely something to be conscious of. So let's say you're thinking, Jeffrey, I cannot live without coffee. I am more than happy to not only pack coffee grounds into the wilderness, but also, once they're wet, to pack them back out. Well, you have a lot of options. A couple of the most popular, I would say, is an Aeropress. An Aeropress is a relatively lightweight syringe type device that mimics French press. It allows you to make a single cup of coffee. There's a few different models, but it allows you to make a small amount of coffee on the trail with minimal equipment. Now, also, I would not recommend taking this on a thru hike ever. Ever. Not the Aeropress. If you are a coffee aficionado, maybe that's your luxury item. I encourage everyone to bring a couple things that maybe aren't necessary, maybe are a little silly, but if it makes you comfortable, sometimes it's worth bringing a couple extra ounces. So if so, bring that Aeropress. This next item, I cannot recommend you ever use it for a thru hike. It's great for travel, maybe a weekend trip, definitely camping, but that is a portable espresso maker. These portable espresso makers make a legitimate espresso under pressure the right way, or as close to the right way as is possible in a small cylindrical device wherever you are. There are lots of different brands. The brand I'm familiar with is Out In, and I've heard great things. I have yet to use one. Again, I could never recommend somebody take one of these devices on a thru hike, but people have done crazier things. There were people who carried cast iron skillets to cook eggs in for breakfast. There was someone who wore flip-flops because they were comfier. So you do you, but I could not recommend carrying a portable espresso machine for 2,650 miles. That being said, you'll be the most popular kid on the trail. I would have loved to have woken up to a legitimate espresso, but alas, I did not. Next are filter straws. They are simply a straw that has a built-in filter on the bottom. This is one thing that I did start the trail with, and I loved it. I got it from Garage Grown Gear. The link is in my gear links. It is actually, I think they were invented, or at least I have known about them existing for mate in Argentina, which is a tea. And the way they drink it is they take a cup, they put the tea leaves in it, they put the hot water in, and then they take the straw and stick the straw in and drink it through the filter straw. So there's no need to steep it. There's no need to filter out the tea leaves. You can just drink it straight out of the cup, and then you just shake it off or rinse it off, and it's ready to go. It also works for coffee. Again, I got mine from Garage Grown Gear, and I loved it. I used it for probably the first 5 to 7 weeks, something like that. But I realized that in the morning, I wasn't in the mood. I wasn't in the mood for coffee. I wasn't in the mood to deal with the coffee grounds. I wasn't in the mood to boil water. It just wasn't as practical as I had hoped it would be. But it was a great solution while I used it. So again, if you are desperate for coffee, it's a really, really great option, a filter straw. Unquestionably, the most popular coffee solution was instant coffee. That's not surprising. It is so easy, it is compact. Once you drink it, it is gone. There's nothing to pack out. And often, depending on what brand you go with, it's usually cheaper. That being said, you sacrifice taste. It's just never the same, is it? There are instant coffees that I like. There are some that I can tolerate and stomach, and there are others that are awful. And I really encourage you to experiment beforehand to see which ones you like, because some of them, I mean, huge national chain brands of instant coffee, I have been, I think it's disgusting, but there are super cheap brands that have been absolutely delicious. The one thing to consider is on trail, you usually don't have a lot of options. So unless you want Folgers or Starbucks, which I usually went with Folgers, it's just so economical. Is it the most delicious? But it's economical and it got the job done. So I usually went with those two. If you find an instant coffee that you are obsessed with, just know that it's probably not going to be available in grocery stores along the way. So if you find one you're in love with, I would suggest ordering it in advance and incorporating that into any boxes that you have shipped to you on trail. Okay, so we've gone through all the different coffee options. We have gone through the most common things to have for breakfast. What did I have for breakfast? Okay, so nearly without fail, I would have the same thing for breakfast every morning. And I didn't start this way from the beginning, but I was introduced to it by Sam and Brennan, and I don't really know where they heard about it. I don't think they created it. I don't know. I also saw a lot of other people having a variation of this, so I don't know where it came from. But I discovered it about 6 weeks in, and from that point on, it is what I had every single morning. It's just so easy, ticks all those boxes off, and this is it. You're looking at it right here. So the first thing is an oatmeal, not an instant, but an oatmeal packet. I usually went with the maple and brown sugar. You can go with any brand, but I usually did the Kodiak if I could find it, and I could usually find it. The protein Kodiak, it has a little extra protein in it. So we're gonna start with one of these. Next is Carnation Breakfast Essentials. I had never had this before. Carnation used to have a factory in my hometown. They used to make Vienna sausages there. Not anymore. But this is the next item, and these are available in most grocery stores. They're in the cereal aisle. A couple things to note. So the great thing is these have a really great vitamin and mineral portfolio, but you should just take note the nutrition facts that are here on the front, like 13 grams of protein, 21 vitamins and minerals, 3 times vitamin D versus milk, 3x calcium versus Greek yogurt. All of these stats are if you prepare this as instructed, which is with milk, which you probably can't do on the trail unless you bring a powdered milk. You could absolutely bring a powdered milk. You can do magical things with powdered milk, so that is an option. But if you're not bringing powdered milk, just know that all these lovely nutrition stats that you're going to get excited about, they just don't pertain to you if you're not making it with milk. And then lastly, some instant coffee. Sometimes it was a 1 coffee day, sometimes it was a 3 coffee day. I would say on average it was a 2 coffee day. So let's make a 2 coffee kind of breakfast. So what I would do is the evening before, I would just take my cold soaking jar. It's a 1T jar, what virtually everybody uses to cold soak. And we're just gonna stick these 3 things in there. So I got the vanilla breakfast essentials. I think it's my favorite just because it doesn't have as much of a strong flavor. There's the only options are vanilla and chocolate. The chocolate I didn't think was, I don't know, I prefer the vanilla. Oatmeal. Okay, next we're gonna go in with 2 little coffees. And a nice thing about this breakfast is that if you don't love the instant coffee, which the Folgers is fine. The Folgers is fine. It's not amazing, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine, guys. Chill out. But if you have a less than brilliantly high quality coffee, this whole shake kind of covers it up, so it doesn't matter as much. Okay, so all that's in there. We're gonna give it a little shaky shake. That wasn't necessary, but it was fun, wasn't it? Okay, we're just gonna add some water, and then we're gonna let this sit overnight. It's essentially cold soaked oats with some other stuffs. It's going to bubble. You'll figure out how much water to add. I'm not gonna tell you exactly how much water to add. Nobody's measuring water out there. Just put some water in it, and if it's not enough, put more the next day. If it's too much, put a little less. Now it's time for some honesty. Did I remember to do this, or was I in the mood to do this every night before I went to bed? No. Did I do it even half of the time? No. No, I didn't. I would say 80% of the time I woke up, made this, and just drank it the way it was. Sure, the oatmeal is not soft. It hasn't gotten gelatinous. I always use too much water because I like it to be more of a drink. If you really want like cold soaked oats type consistency, just change the ratio of water you add. You would probably need to do at least 2 oatmeals, or it's going to be a pretty small portion. But even if you don't let it cold soak, oh man, that's so weird. Oh my god. You know how like a smell or a taste like flashes you to a specific memory or a place or a time? That's wild. That tastes like a freaking PCT. I've never obviously had this off trail. It's good. It's really good. It's really good. And you got great calories. You got some good sugar. You're doing endurance, so you need carbs, simple carbs. Is it perfect for other times? No. If you're not active, you should not have those carbs. But in this scenario, the simple carbs are amazing. The complex carbs are amazing. The fiber is amazing. It's a hit, y'all. You don't have to use, if you don't cold soak, that's okay. A lot of people use a Gatorade bottle, just a saved Gatorade bottle, something lightweight that's easy, doesn't take up a lot of space, or one of those small juice bottles, you know, when you can buy orange juice in a little smaller bottle. All of those are great options. They're lightweight, they're easy, they're inexpensive. I'm a fan. Okay, so that is what I ate for breakfast on the PCT. What did you eat? Leave it in the comments. I know there's so many things that I missed. So what do you eat? What do you think of mine? Do you want to give it a try? Do you think it sounds disgusting? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all those things, and we'll see you next time. Want to watch another video? Click here. Want to learn more about my upcoming trips? Click here. Want to subscribe and like all my videos and turn those bell notifications?